Caroline Keats, CEO of ENRG Elements. It's amazing that you're here because you've been globetrotting all over the place. Where have you been?
So I've spent time in Europe, I've spent time in Niger where our uranium assets are, I've spent time in Botswana where our copper assets are. I've been to North America and then I've been over to the east coast of Australia and then today I'm here. So the last 2 months, it's been really, really hard to sort of say that I've been home.
Oh man, you're making me dizzy just trying to imagine what your schedule looks like. Now, you've been in the sector for a long time, right? You worked at Paladin, you've done a lot of other things. How does this cycle feel to you?
You know, it's really different because there's some really, it's not just about how the market is. We're supported by the clean energy discussions, the fact that we have energy security issues, and obviously you've got supply issues, considering the fact for the last 10 years there's been a real pause in the sector, right? Yeah. And so the reality is that there's now a real emphasis on increasing uranium production, and certainly the idea that SMRs could come into the sector and they could encourage more investment and interest in the whole region. The other thing that I think is really, really interesting for me is the fact that we're talking about renewables in an attempt to reduce our carbon emissions. But the reality is that there's a lot of cost associated with renewables that we aren't actually talking about. And I've been so pleased that some of those items have been discussed at this conference. But from my point of view, I'd love to see it talked beyond this conference because there's a lot of education that's necessary, and certainly the role of nuclear in that, and maybe even in Australia, and hopefully in Australia, is where we can get to.
Do you think the nuclear industry shows too much deference to renewable energy? Do you think we tiptoe around it too much?
Look, you know, the thing is that we've got to be respectful, but in the end we've got to have an honest debate. And it's not just us, it's government, it's the general community, and we can't be scared by myths. We've got to actually be talking about the science. And the reality is that renewables are not free energy. It is a cost. There's a cost left, right and centre, and we've got to actually be honest in dealing with that. And in making those assessments about how we actually sort out what our energy system is going to look like, we've got to think about the future and not just have these unintended consequences of going down a path and hope that it'll be sorted further down the track. Because you know what? People are not interested in that. We're talking about generational issues here, and we've got to get it right.
Absolutely, because the economic choices that we make that are energy-based are going to have profound impacts, not just for us, but for the next generation to come. If you wipe out the economic viability of entire communities through poor energy choices, that's not something that can be reversed by a simple political cycle.
Exactly, and that's the part. It's not actually about, you know, which side of politics you sit on. It's something that is bipartisan, it's across the board, it's not just over a 3-year bit. The reality is that no one individual is going to come up with the answers, but we need to have informed debate in order to get the right outcome.
Great. Well, are you looking forward to tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Cool.
It's been a really, really good conference. Thank you.
Great to have you here.
Absolutely.